Hi, I'm your host, Jimmy Jeff,
I'm Dale Simpson.
and today we will be talking about the life of President Thomas Jefferson, or known by his street name, T.J. Tommy Jeff Jefferson.
Today we'll be interviewing renowned historian Ornette McJiver from Jivetown University.
I grew up in a small town outside of in Pennsylvania, but I didn't really get into history until I was about maybe 11 or 12 years old, and I was really fascinated with Thomas Jefferson's presidency. I also like to paint pictures and play urban funk sitar.
Can you demonstrate your art to us?
Yeah, there's a picture I painted just yesterday, right over there. I painted it based off this emotion that when I wrote this song, off the time I spent in Pakistan, this is what it sounded like.
So now let's talk about Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, good point. I was just highlighting this section from a book I've been writing about Thomas Jefferson, and let's start from the beginning with the election of 1800, where Democratic Republican Jefferson ran against the Federalist John Adams.
Fascinating. Who won?
Well, that's the interesting part of the result. The election ended in a tie, but Jefferson was awarded the presidency in the end.
That is so interesting. I've heard that election is very important.
Indeed, the election was. It was very prevalent to American politics, as it was called the Revolution. It was also the very first peaceful transfer of governmental power.
So much knowledge. That is great. What were the major issues that Jefferson dealt with?
Well, in fact, Thomas Jefferson had two major topics he dealt with, including piracy along the Barbary Coast in Africa and impressment by the British. He was also very famous for his large purchase of land from the French, known as the Louisiana Purchase.
Thank you, Mr. McJiver. That was a great segue to our next topic, where we will be interviewing famous historian Gigi Lamau about the Louisiana Purchase. Thank you.
And today we're very, very, very excited to send Dale on a field trip to go visit Dr. Gigi Lamau and learn about the Lewis and Clark expeditions.
I'm indeed very excited to interview Dr. Lamau.
We wish you the best of luck.
I love you. See you later.
I love you too. This is a big step for our studio, interviewing a doctor from ITT Technical Institute. It's very inspirational, and we're very excited to learn so much about Lewis and Clark today.
Dr. Lamau. Dr. Lamau.
Who are you? McDonald.
Dr. Lamau.
Oh, you're the guy.
Yeah, we want to hear about the Louisiana Purchase.
Oh, yeah, of course. What do you want to know about the Louisiana Purchase?
Everything and anything.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Napoleon Bonaparte had become the leader of France after a victory in the French Revolution. And as leader of France, Napoleon wanted to establish French presence in the New World.
Yikes, that would not be good, knowing what we know from the French and Indian War.
Precisely. It was at this time that Jefferson realized the situation and sent James Monroe as an American representative to offer no more than $10 million for the land west of New Orleans. Monroe, realizing the possibility of a French-American conference in the New World, offered $15 million for the 800,000 acres of land.
Whoa there, homie James just kind of ran off with $5 million extra. Wasn't Jefferson mad?
Not really. Jefferson realized that $5 million now would be cheaper than potentially fighting another war against France if they were to establish a settlement in America. But anyways, France happily accepted Americans' offer, and the announcement was made on American soil on July 4th, 1803, and was officially a part of the United States on December 20th, 1803.
Did the Constitution have any laws that didn't permit that?
It's a great question. Dale, is it? Yeah, Dale.
Yeah.
Actually, that was a big concern for Thomas Jefferson. He was a strong supporter of the Constitution. He was very concerned that he would be following strictly to the Constitution. However, Article 4 of the Constitution states that no land can be taken from foreign nations. Jefferson demanded to the Senate that amendment had to be made. He wrote to the Senate in 1803, and I quote, "The general government has no powers but such as the Constitution gives it. It has not given it power of holding foreign territory, and still less of incorporating it into the Union." End quote. However, Jefferson was met with a wave of people against the Louisiana Purchase. Federalists threatened to secede from the nation. However, Jefferson was not concerned about this and did not address the issue. In the end, Federalists did not succeed because of lack of support. Speaking of the Louisiana Purchase, would you like to hear about legendary explorers Lewis and Clark?
Why, sure. I think our viewers would love to hear about the famous Lewis and Clark.
Let me find a page here. Okay. Thomas Jefferson was very eager to explore and settle the lands west of the Mississippi that they just bought from France. He offered this mission to the captain of a local army, Meriwether Lewis. Lewis chose his close companion and good friend, William Clark, to join him on the job. While the main point of the mission was to explore the newly acquired land, he was also able to research the new plants, animals, and people of the region. They left from Missouri in May 1804.
That's really cool.
When the two explorers arrived home in 1806, many people celebrated them as heroes, but most all of them were celebrated for being the first to conquer the West. This praise trickled up to Jefferson, where he is regarded as opening up the West for expansion.
Whoa, those guys are heroes. Dr. Lamau, something I'm personally interested in is how Jefferson dealt with the national debt crisis. Can you elaborate on that?
It's funny you say that, because it's so impressive how Jefferson reduced national debt from roughly 82 million to 57 million. This was incredible, especially considering Jefferson purchased 50 million acres of land and spent $15 million on those acres.
Whoa, that's a lot of numbers.
Yes, indeed. Jefferson also reduced the Navy and Army side, which helped relieve some of the debt. Jefferson also helped relieve national debt by cutting the amount of people in the government. However, Jefferson did questionable cuts. For example, he banned all blacks from being in the postal service, as he feared it would create an uprising. So while he did reduce national debt, he did it in an extremely racist way, which was met with praising from the white population and disapproval from free black Americans.
Wow, you're just one wealth of knowledge, Dr. Lamau. I'm afraid that's all we have time for today, Dr. Lamau. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming. I'll escort you out.
Appreciate that, sir.
Oh, yo, watch out for my.
You're telling me the cat.
Yeah, he kind of lives here something. Thank you for coming. Please tell anybody to enroll in ITT Technical Institute. I teach a lecture class there. Thank you. You can get going.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Jeff, and welcome to the 4 o'clock news summary. Today we're going to summarize what we learned about Jefferson's presidency. We learned that from 1801 to 1809, Jefferson was extremely successful economically as he slashed the national debt by nearly a third. We also learned that he was unsuccessful with his unpopular budget cuts to Army and Navy expenditures. Politically, Jefferson was largely uninvolved in the Napoleonic Wars, which was a large success for the United States, but to the contrary, his embargo on American shipping was very unpopular and failed. Geographically, Jefferson had large success with his acquisition of the Louisiana Purchase, which nearly doubled the size of the United States. This, however, did lead to United States westward expansion, which took over Native American lands. Well, to summarize Dale's interview, we talked about how President Jefferson spent $15 million on approximately 828,000 square miles, which doubled the size of the United States of America, spending only 4 cents an acre. And we talked about Lewis and Clark, where their adventures took 2.5 years to cover 8,000 miles. We talked about the United States debt, and we talked about the United States exports and how between 1803 and 1807, the United States exports jumped from roughly 66.5 million to around 102 million. And during the same 4-year period, re-exports quadrupled from roughly 13.5 million to 58.4 million. Yeah. By spring of 1808, However, the Embargo Act that was passed by Congress in December of 1807 had devastated the American economy. American exports plummeted from 108 million to 22 million. This shows that President Jefferson's presidency was not only full of great things, but also many, many struggles. Also, we talked about the trade war between England and how Jefferson was forced to stand up to England, and how also Jefferson had to fight Barbary pirates, and how previously presidents had paid off Barbary pirates to not seize ships, but Jefferson refused to do that, standing up for the United States, which in many ways was a victory for us, as it showed that we need a stronger nation, but it also did result in some losses, and it did result in paying off those nations as a whole.
He stood up against those pirates.
Boys.
And that's 4 o'clock news. We'll
Thank
see you tomorrow.
I'm Jimmy Jeff. And
I'm Dale Simpson.
Dale Simpson.
Good night, folks.
I love you.